What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the ASAP Sports Network. I'm your host, Phil Tross, and we're bringing you the first edition of Lakers Talk 101. Hey, don't forget, if y'all like our content, don't forget to like and share us on Facebook at ASAP Sports or All Sports All Plays Network. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. We're on Roku TV. And shout out to our partners of the American Arena League. We love you. Thank you for the support. Let's go around the horn. Corey, let's introduce ourselves.
Hey, I'm Corey. I'm from the Out of Bounds Sports Podcast. Number one Laker fan on the show.
Hey, I'm Doug Brooks. Hey, I'm from the Big Time Show podcast, and there's a correction already on the show. I am the number one Laker fan.
Okay.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Jonathan Mathis. I'm known as the sports judge. I host a show part of the ASAP network. It's called Speaking with Judgment, hosted by me, and I also have my own YouTube channel. You guys can check that out as well.
First off, y'all already know who I am. I don't think I need to introduce you to who I am, but Corey and Doug, I know this. I know we haven't done a show before. I've done one with Corey, but I want to let you guys know it don't get much bigger and become a Laker fan than when you meet me. I mean, you'll see.
Hey, hold on. Look, we might have to come up with some kind of tiebreaker or a trivia game every week to figure out who's going to be the biggest Laker fan on the show.
I'm the oldest.
Get right into it,
I'm definitely the oldest, so you know.
Oh, he pulling the OG card on us already. Look at him. Hey, before we get started, y'all, we're going to go around the horn really quick and just let everyone know, or how did you become a Lakers fan in the first place? We'll start with you, Corey, and we'll just go around the circle.
So, with the Lakers, I started off with through Shaq. He was my favorite player when he played for Orlando, and just watching what he was doing with Penny, and I was kind of, I didn't want him to leave Orlando with Penny, and then he ended up going to the Lakers, and then I think a few maybe right after that they drafted Kobe. And I just kind of fell in love with that tandem, and I've been a Laker fan ever since that 99-2000 season.
Wow. Obviously, this is why I prove I'm the oldest and the greatest Laker fan. So I was 6 years old in 1979, and I followed Magic Johnson. So I remember as a kid the national championship game, and wherever Magic went, I went. So I rest my case. I am. Come on now. I mean, next question.
It goes back to 1988 for me. I was born in 1985. I was born and raised in Southern California. Couldn't help but to bleed purple and gold living here in Southern California. Been a Laker fan all my life, diehard Laker fan. It started in early childhood. It continued through the Kobe and Shaq era. I remember the Eddie Jones era. I remember when they played at the Fabulous Forum. Great memories there. I've seen a number of games there. So I've been a Laker fan all my life. And, hey, it's a great team to root for. If you're a Laker fan, you know how much mystique is wrapped around the franchise, and how this team loves to win, so it's great to be a Laker fan, and it's great to be on with you guys as well.
Yes, sir.
All right, it might not be as long as my guy Doug up there because I am a young buck, but it started in '97. I mean, it started when I was in the womb of my mama's stomach. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Hey, in my family, if you're not a Laker fan, you can't watch basketball. I mean, it's just simple as that. My mother and my grandmother was raised out there in Southern California. Actually, it's a true story. My grandmother had an opportunity to date Michael Cooper. She turned him down, and I tell her every minute of the day, that's the biggest mistake. Could you imagine if they would have gotten together? Where I would be at? I would be out there at the crypto.com arena up there selling the ASAP network to them. But hey, man, Kobe was my dude. My favorite player. Still my favorite player. It's kind of hard to gravitate to a player even today, still today, that say, you know what, that's my player. Because, and I find myself critical of a lot of these players like LeBron because I hold them to a certain standard because I'm used to Kobe for 20 years giving us that standard. So, but yeah, there you go.
And I agree with that. Hey, Doug, you might be on an island by yourself. I'm only 28 years old, so I'm not as wise and long in the tooth. But I became a Lakers fan back in about 05, 06, 07 when Kobe and them Lakers were battling the Suns every year in the playoffs. And they would get bounced. They kind of like Freddie said, for some of those some people like me who aren't as highly skilled as other folks, Kobe was a hard worker, one of the hardest workers in NBA history. So he made me believe that no matter how much talent I have, hard work could beat talent when talent fails to work hard. So ever since then, I've been a die-hard Kobe fan. And my one regret is never been a chance to see him before he passed away. So I got to make the Staples Center one day, or what, the crypto center now, what they call it. But yeah, let's get into our first topic, fellas. So LeBron has officially become a billionaire. That makes him the first player to join the club while still being active on the course. Let me get your guys' opinion on that, Corey.
So just listening to that, just knowing LeBron's background, his path to the NBA, he wasn't, given, a lot of opportunities, just, coming from where he came from. He grew up, didn't have a father, single parent home. It just shows, it's just black excellence to me, just to see, a young brother like him, grow up, have it hard, and then being able to, face adversity and then make it to the NBA out of high school, and then, have the people around him, all of his advisors and all his are actually his friends that he came up with. So you don't really see that a whole lot. So I'm really, if you have anything bad to say about LeBron James, I mean, you can, you just hating on him, because I just feel like with all the accomplishments that he's had and all the things that he's, been able to accomplish, I mean, you just have to take your hat out to him.
That's real. What you got, Doug?
If there was a picture of a person that matches the American dream, there are two people just off the top of my head that does it. One is Kurt Warner. You can't write a story like that. And then it has to be LeBron James. It just has to be him. Forget what you feel about him on the basketball court. You can't name a person that has done it like he's done it this young. Usually the guys that become billionaires, is, Michael Jordan, of course, he had become an owner to do all that kind of stuff. But to be he was rich while he was playing, no doubt. But to reach this status, we've never seen this before. And he is the American dream, coming from absolutely, as Corey just said, coming from absolutely nothing now to this part. And the man is not even 40 years old. He is to be commended. He is the example for all players that are playing now. He is a wealth of wisdom. Whatever he's done it right, at least to get to this status. No trouble, no problems, no scandals, no nothing. This dude, regardless of if people may feel about him on the court, this guy is the prime example of American dream.
What you got, Jonathan?
Yeah, he embodies what so many young people want to be. And that's what's so incredible about LeBron James. I mean, he sets good examples for children. He's a great role model. The man opened a school. I mean, it doesn't get any bigger than that. What he's been able to accomplish at such a young age, at age 37, accomplishing more than the ordinary. It's just amazing. It's unprecedented. It's unreal. This is a guy who has a nice trophy case at home, 4 NBA championships, 4 MVPs, 4 finals MVPs. And that's just a short list. You can throw in the 18 All-Star selections and being named to the NBA 75 anniversary team. Just amazing accomplishments, but none is bigger than this. This is his biggest milestone yet. It's amazing that he's worth over $1 billion. And what it shows you is that, with hard work and determination, you can accomplish anything. And, there's always going to be odds stacked against you, and there's always going to be those haters that, you know, stand in your way. But you can show the world who you truly are, and I think LeBron James has done that with his individual accolades and his personal achievements away from basketball.
And Jonathan, I think you and Doug, y'all both hit it on the head too. It's like he's a hero that people can actually aspire to be, because he came from, like y'all said, he came from no role model, not having a father in his life. He came from, you know, the humble beginnings, like a lot of us had come from. So we have a real life hero from our neighborhood, someone like us that black kids can relate to. There's no better story example than that. You know what I mean, Freddie?
Man, you know, when I think about this, it's more than basketball to me. You know, take basketball outside of it. I was listening to Kendrick Perkins tell a story how him and LeBron grew up, and this man's goal was to be a billionaire while playing. And for him to do this, being raised by a single black mother, him growing up as a young kid, living his life different than most others. You know, I mean, I can remember me as a young kid. Hey, we want to have fun, we want to party, we want to do this. But his mindset at a young age was to, hey, what can I do to become better? What can I do to be considered one of the best of all times? And that just shows you the type of guy, type of work that he have. And, you know, I'm going to just be honest with you. It's hard to trust our brothers out there to be when we start a business, a lot of times we go outside of our tree. We don't go in our backyard. We don't go into to our former teammates. So you know what? I'm gonna bring you on into my business. I'm gonna make you my agent. I'm gonna make you head of this. And this is what this man did. He took his friends, guys that he played basketball with, guys that he struggled just like him with, and elevated them in a position where they can all eat, where they all can grow. So not LeBron shouldn't be, you know, LeBron, he deserved the credit, you know, he deserved his praise, but we have to give Rich Paul, we have to give those guys some love as well, because, hey, you guys know, instead of us building one another up, a lot of times we like to tear one another down, but those guys did not. Those guys stood beside LeBron, and those guys have achieved one of the biggest goals in life. Doug, you touched on this, brother. This man lived a clean life. He haven't got in trouble with the law. He's still with the same woman, the same wife that he met in high school with. He raised his kids, to our knowledge, to one of the great father. So that's why people in the society today try to find other things to attack on LeBron, because guess what? You can't attack him off the court, anything, because he don't get in trouble. So they want to attack him little things, you know, because we know one thing about LeBron. Yes, he has that. He's done something even Michael Jordan was not willing to do. He has that $1 billion status behind him. But guess what? We know when social injustice or anything else, LeBron is not afraid to speak out on it, and he should be commended by that.
100%, Freddie. 100%. So we're going to move on to one of the most highly debated topics on the show, and I'm gonna give it to Freddie first. But Russell Westbrook still believes that he deserves a max contract. Do you or do you not agree? Go ahead, Freddie.
So he made the quote is something like he think he deserved that because he averaged triple doubles, he put up big numbers, and all of that. See, ladies and gentlemen, that's the problem. All he cares about is the numbers. Is Russell Westbrook. We know you can get your number. We don't care about that. I want to know, what are you going to do to help this team win? I don't need to hear about anything about you averaging a triple-double. I don't need to hear anything about that, because this team don't need that out of you, Russ. This team do not need you to try to go out there and get double rebounds. Yes, the assist because you're a point guard, but if you're out there hunting for triple-doubles, that's a problem. I mean, come on, Russ, bro. Like this is what us Laker fans want to hear. Where is the accountability when it comes from you? Like, bro, like you shouldn't be talking. Like that's one thing I love about Anthony Davis, because he have a lot of blame for this season too. But guess what? He know he can't stay healthy. But have we heard anything out of his mouth? No. You know why? Because he know that he has to be better. You know what I want you to say, Russ? Hey, I had a bad year this year. Hey, I'm gonna let my game talk, do the talking for me. I'm gonna come in here, do whatever it takes this upcoming season to help this team win. That's the only thing I want to hear out your mouth. I don't care about you talking about, oh, I average this, I should get paid. No, Russ, what are you going to do to help this team win? It's not about the triple doubles. And I'm starting to believe that's the only thing he cares about is his numbers. As long as he get that triple double, that satisfies him in his mind. So you know what? Hey, I had a great season. But what about the team? Russ, it's not about just you. It's about the team. What are you doing to help this team win?
And you know what, Freddie? I think he suffers from a little bit of that Carmelo syndrome, right? The inability to adapt and evolve as he got older in age. Carmelo, for the longest time, up until last 2 or 3 years, he was stuck in that mid range, right? Don't play a lot of defense. He's looking for his own shot. And same thing with Westbrook. He's a stat patter, but as he started losing that athleticism, get some of those injuries, he's still playing the same kind of basketball. He hasn't changed his game up or found ways to still be impactful while his skills diminishing a bit. But what you think, Jonathan?
Look, guys, it's like this. He feels a sense of entitlement because of those numbers. He feels because he puts up numbers that's benefiting the team, when in reality, it's really not helping the team. It's harming the team more than anything. I don't think he's the right mix for the Lakers. I was for it at first. I thought it was a great experiment. Thought maybe it could have possibly worked out. But this is a man who shows countless times that he cannot alter his style of play. He just doesn't fit what the Lakers have going on. I don't think he's the right piece to the puzzle. I definitely think he messed with chemistry a bit, threw them off, but it's definitely a sense of entitlement as to why he feels this way, that he feels that the Lakers are another team out there owes him this max contract. No, you're already in the late phases of your career. That's ridiculous. That's nonsense. I don't see it happening. And that's how I feel about it. He didn't really do much to help the Lakers. He didn't really do much to, make the team better. He was here. He was supposed to be here to bolster the offense, make things better for the team. And we didn't see that happen. So I'll say no on that.
Tough take. Hey, Corey, before you answer as well, I want you to also think about how much of a percentage of blame does Russ hold as opposed to a Rob or Coach or even LeBron or AD?
That's a lot to unpack. I do like Russell Westbrook. I mean, I'm a big fan of Russell Westbrook. I was just like Jonathan, high on the move to bring him in. Very excited to have him, and I still think that Russell can, help this team if he can change his play. As far as the blame, I mean, this lies on Jeanie Buss's desk. I mean, she signed off on the move to bring him in. We can talk about Rob and everything else, but the buck stops on that desk with Jeanie Buss. I mean, that she's the owner of the team. She takes accountability for this. Now, when you talk about his contract, he makes a lot of money, as far as, the NBA and things like that. And I love the way he plays as far as his effort and things like that, but it just is not conducive to winning at all. Just like Freddie, talked about. I've never heard this man speak on a championship, like never talked about championship team or anything like that. You spoke on about Carmelo Anthony. And if you think about what happened to him, the league forced him to adjust his mindset. And I hate to say this, if he doesn't hurry up and try to, figure this out, he might be out of the league, looking in, trying to get back in on a minimum contract on a non-contending team, and just because he's just trying to play, and I would hate to see that, because I mean, he still is immensely talented, but he just got to figure out how to bring it together. If you don't have it, I mean, facilitate the offense. I mean, you're still a good passer. You cut down on those turnovers and things like that. If your shot's not falling, kick it out to the open guy. Lead the break. I mean, things like that. I still think that LeBron should be the primary decision maker in the half court. But when we're talking about transition and pushing the break, that's Russell Westbrook. And I think that's where he should focus his game on, whatever is coming in the flow of the offense, we shouldn't even be talking about his contract right now because last year, it was a disaster. We should be talking about how we're going to get better, how we're, the new coach is going to, fit in with this roster, things like that. I don't even want to hear nothing about money and contracts, things like that, because if you ask me, none of the Lakers deserve a dime in any of their contracts.
And that's real. And Westbrook needs to understand that hustling hard at this stage of his career is not enough to win basketball games. He needs to mentally adapt in order to unlock that next level for himself. What you got, Doug?
Well, the question that I heard was, does he deserve his money? The answer is yes, but not this team. But not on this team. If we just answering that question, anywhere else, he would get the max contract because he is a great player. You don't get on to the 75th anniversary team just by having friends in the media. He earned that spot. He is one of the best to ever do it. That can't be denied. However, he is one of those players that cannot transition, or as I've heard the word, adapt to whatever the team is, which leads to what I think is a mistaken identity. It's hard for a guy to be the number one player all his life and then come to a team where you're really coming in on this team as the third option. That's the stance. And in his mind, he's the type of player that to get his rhythm, his game going, he needs to be ball dominant. Well, on this team, there's no way that you can do that because you're playing with arguably the greatest player to ever play the game. I said arguably. I ain't say he was now. I just said arguably. I just said arguably. So but LeBron is the person that needs to be ball dominant, and his game. Let's just say it like this: he didn't adapt the way that Chris Bosh did in Miami. He transitioned his whole game to be a number 3. Westbrook did not do that. But I don't want to take nothing away from his talent. We also have to factor in this guy that he could have possibly well been a number 3 if our guys would have stayed healthy. Look how many games AD missed. My God. He had to move into a number 2 type guy, but the games are too similar as far as LeBron and Westbrook goes. And so it's kind of hard for him to break down and become a number, anything other than, this is the same guy that had a problem with KD, and his game really hasn't changed. But anywhere else, yes, give him his money. But here, no, he does not deserve his max money because he don't have to be that type of player here with us if our guys are healthy. If our guys are healthy, he automatically will become the third option. And I'm not sure he's really that type of guy. And I just don't think that Russ is, we got a kind of mistaken identity going on. He's still that dude. He still can give you triple doubles. He still can do all that, but it's not needed for this team. It's not needed for our team.
You said a real good point right there, Doug. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Doug, I agree that he can go to a team like the Orlando Magic. He can go to a team like the Timberwolves or anywhere, and if you tell him, hey, Russ, we want you to be the main vocal of our offense, he can still go out and put up big numbers. But the thing is, like you said, we don't need him to put up big numbers here. We just need him to fit in the role, to be that third guy that can give us 15 to 20 on a night, shoot the ball good, no turnovers, and get the others involved. So it's that's what we need. I love the hire. I love the hire of Coach Ham because I believe Russ will take criticism, will take advice from a guy that's been in the trenches, a guy that's battle tested, a guy that has won as a player and also have won as a coach. I think he will listen to him rather than a guy in Frank Vogel who has never laced it up in the day of his life. And there's no shot at Frank Vogel because I thought Frank Vogel was a good coach, and I thought he did good while he was down there in L.A., what he could deal with. But I love Coach Ham. I think I love Coach Ham better than Vogel, most honestly.
I mean, look, Westbrook, he has no choice. It's either this year he evolves and he adapts to fit the team he's around, or his career is probably going to be done. And Doug, you mentioned being miscast. That was a great point because I think his whole career, due to the success he had, even when playing with Durant and Harden, he's always put up big numbers, but he always saw himself as a lead dog. And to me, that's not what he was built to be, a lead dog. That was Durant's team. And even to like you said, even to this day, he's still with the mentality of this is my team. I'm the point guard. The ball should be in my hands. I'm making the decisions. When you play with LeBron James, exactly. And when you play with LeBron James, he's a lead dog. He makes the decisions. The ball's in his hands. You have to fit around that guy. Like everyone's done it. Chris Bosh had to do it, like Corey said. Kevin Love had to do it. Even Kyrie Irving had to do it. And he's probably the most skilled teammate that he ever played besides D Wade. So it's crazy, man.
The only person that.
Sorry, go ahead, Fred. I'm sorry.
No, you good.
I was just saying that really, that point right there that I think I brought up or whatever is that is the problem. With him, at least, he is not it's a problem for this team. He just has not transitioned to being the other object. You know, if there's an argument that could be made with, you know, at OKC that he was the second option. You know, he adapted well doing that. But for him, the mistaken identity part is you're coming in to be number 3. It's no question that LeBron is 1, AD is 2. You're coming in to be number 3, and his game is not conducive to being a number 3 type guy. That's just not him. He's still a great player, but he's just not that guy. That's my observance looking at him.
And Doug, I'm gonna be honest with you. I believe it should be Anthony Davis at number 1. And I'm gonna tell you why. And when we won the championship, AD was primarily our number 1 guy. And the reason why I say that is because at this point, LeBron James is our glue. He holds everything together. He's the support of this team. Like if LeBron's not on this team, we don't have a chance. But Anthony Davis should be the best player. And that's no knock on LeBron. But the reason why I said it is because AD's younger. Hey, and if AD had that mindset, what separates him from Giannis Antetokounmpo? The mindset, the heart, the drive. If he had that, there's nobody in the league that can stop this man. This man is, 6'7", 6'8", 6'11", however tall he is. Vertical is all day, all night. Can play on both sides. He's the lead on the defensive side, and he can score on all levels on the offensive side. I'm talking about in the interior, the mid-range, the 3-ball. He has it all. This is the guy who was a point guard growing up as a young buck at one point in time, you guys. But Anthony Davis, you know what stops him? Just because Jonathan, he always says this, we need to get the bubble wrap. We need to wrap him up. He can't stay healthy. His injuries always come at the wrong time. It comes every year. So that's what forces LeBron to have to be that number 1 guy, where LeBron has to keep playing all these minutes. For LeBron, even going in year 20, is going to have to be our best player yet again. And Ron, hey, I'm just saying, bro, when I say the glue, I'm just saying that he holds things together. When he's off the court, things go crazy. That's what I'm saying. There's no knock against LeBron to say that, you know, he should be the second option. Hell, if anything, he should want to be the second option. He should want to take some time off. Hell, he should say, you know what? Here you go, big fella. This is what we used to do, bro. I remember we won the championship. Our first possession was what? We going down in the post with LeBron, with AD, or we throwing the lobs to JaVale or Dwight to start the game off. We went away from that last year. And I'm like, what are we doing? Like, we need AD to dominate, man, for us to win.
And stay healthy. Staying healthy is the key. I mean, you know, and I think the hope was to build around this guy moving forward in the future.
So hypothetically speaking, right? We're going to go around the horn, start with Corey. So how do we make the Lakers better? And is there a scenario where you even consider trading AD and or Westbrook for more complementary pieces around LeBron James?
I would at least give Coach Ham a shot at this roster, the way it is. I know it's we're sick and tired of what we saw last year. But they brought this man in, at least give him a shot. With the way it is, Russ, AD, LeBron. I mean, Coach Vogel's voice got a little stale in the locker room. They wasn't inspired to play. I mean, they was just downright disrespectful. I just think that they should at least, just see what they got, with renewed energy, hopefully with a new voice, just to see how it plays out. I think that AD's health is going to be the focal point because, I mean, he gets hurt. He's missing 30, 40 games. I mean, that we can't have that. That just makes no sense to me.
Before we move on to Doug, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back in a second.
Get ready. This summer, the Arena League Sports is on ASAP Network. Tune in live on either the Tiki Live or Roku app, as well as your smart home TV.
Welcome to the ASAP Sports Network. I'm your host, Phil Charles. If you're with us for the first time, thank you for joining us. This is Lakers Talk 101, where we talk all things Lakers all the time. So to get back on topic, we're talking about how can we improve the roster, and is it even a possibility or a thought to think about trading AD and Westbrook for better pieces for LeBron James? So, Doug, what do you think?
Before I answer that question, I just got breaking news real quick. Breaking news, y'all may have didn't get it on your phone, but AD just walked to the mailbox and the wind blew and he got injured. He'll be out for the first 3 games of the season. The wind hurt him. So that's breaking news there. That's the first thing. To answer your question, let me put on my GM hat. Your 2 biggest assets of the team are LeBron and AD. LeBron is not going anywhere until his son comes into the league. Let's get that understood. They're not going to trade him. They're going to give him his wish wherever. That's why he's going to play out his contract. By that time, hopefully his son is in the league, and wherever his son goes, that's where he's going to sign. I would not trade LeBron. LeBron still is an all-NBA player. You cannot give him away. However, I really do believe that the biggest asset, if you're talking about trade, it would be AD. I believe you can get a boatload for him. You still can get a boatload for LeBron, but I think you can really, because there are going to be plenty of teams that believe, number one, they can get him healthy. And then he's still young. He still hadn't entered his prime. You can get a boatload for him. And the Lakers are going to need that, because the thought of saying we're going to build around AD, you ain't building around nothing, because he is the best right now at showing his wardrobe. I mean, good Lord. We get to see the latest fashions. We
Him
get
and
to
Ben
see
Simmons.
the latest jeans. We get to see the latest $100 shirts. We get to see the latest haircuts. We get to see the latest jewelry. We get to see all that because he's there every night on the bench. What I'm not seeing is him in a Laker uniform playing on the dime. So we just at some point we got to call this thing as it is. AD was hurt in Kentucky. He was hurt in New Orleans, and he's hurt in LA. So it is what it is. At some point, we have to do that. This man is a great talent. I give him that. But he cannot stay healthy. It would shock us if he would play 65 games. It would shock us because that's just not him. When he gets hurt, he gets hurt. I mean, it's almost a reincarnation. I know some of y'all a little bit younger, but I'm saying it's a reincarnation of Bill Walton. I mean, always hurt. He's almost like Greg Oden. Always something wrong with AD. He blew his nose the other day and he busted his nostril. He blew out an out. He out for 2 weeks. I mean, at some point we got to call it like it is. But I believe there are teams out there that have this idea that our training staff can get him where he needs to be. And then on that note, he is the way to do it. Now, how do we make it better? You get him around, and I don't know if I'm kind of fast forwarding. LeBron's team, because it's still LeBron's team, have always needed shooters around him. We can get shooters because that's what you're gonna need. You know what I'm saying? That's one reason why the roster was, not so good this year, because nobody can shoot the ball. Nobody. AD still demand a double team. LeBron still demand a double team. And when they kick it out, nobody hit shots. LeBron needs guys that can flat out shoot the ball. His championship team showed that. It's not hard to figure out. Nobody on our team can do that. If you trade AD away, you make it, then, you can go ahead and get that. It ain't hard finding a big man that can rebound because we're not dependent on an inside game to win. LeBron is the big man, kick it out, shoot the rock, win a championship. That's that simple to me.
And for the record, really quick, I don't think anybody on this podcast tonight would actually ever think about trading LeBron James. I think, for one, with his play level, and two, with his popularity, I don't think any franchise could ever recover from that blowback of being the team that traded LeBron James away. But what do you think about that?
Jonathan Wood.
Jonathan Wood.
It was a hit or miss for me, but I'm with you guys. I'm on board with that. I think you keep LeBron. You try to build around him still while he's still playing at such a high level at this point in his career. It's amazing what he's been able to do. It would be very, very difficult to trade away Russell Westbrook. I mean, who would want that contract? So your only valuable asset really is AD. If you decide to make a move, it would be AD. And there's a lot of teams that would entertain the notion of pushing their chips to the table to actually trade for this guy, injury prone or not, because we all know what AD can give you when he's healthy. We all know that he could be a monster on the boards, that he can be a solid rim protector. We all know that he can score and make his mid-range jump shots, get to the free throw line, be aggressive inside the paint. We've seen that. As Laker fans, we've all seen that. I think the Lakers stay with this team with what they have. They got a new coach coming in now. Darvin Ham is about to take over the franchise. We'll see what happened. I think this Laker team was very unhappy with Frank Vogel, unfortunately. I think, they just didn't want to play for him anymore. They weren't inspired to play for this man anymore. They simply quit on him. We saw that in the late in the season, that they just gave up. They didn't have any fight in them. I think Darvin Ham's going to do his best to push this team very hard. He's going to get the best out of his players. We already hear a lot of great things about him already. That's a positive for this Laker team. I think you stay with what you have. Now, if you have to make a mid-season trade next season, and if things are not going so well, you always have that option where you could, probably put AD on the market and see who's out there and who would be willing to, take him off the books for you. But right now, you stay with what you have, and you just play it by ear and see how it works out for you.
I can dig it, Freddie.
Listen here. The best thing for the Lakers to do, and what I'm about to say is it's not the most popular thing us Laker fans want to hear. It's not the most popular thing that hell, if you rock that purple and gold, you don't want to hear this. Be patient. Just wait. Don't move too fast. Don't throw all our chips in at once. Wait this year. Wait this season out. And what does that do? Russell Westbrook comes off your books. I believe that's $47 million that you can spend now. So you have two options. One, you can go out and get another star to become your third option and possibly still more money to get more role players. Or we can build around LeBron and Anthony Davis, give quality role players that's going to do their job, play defense, knock down shots, create for others. So I believe that's the best thing for the Lakers to do at this point, because we've seen it, you guys. And you know what? Hey, if you ask me would I do that AD trade again, I would say yes 100 more times, because it's hard to win NBA championships in the NBA. Yes, we could have waited. Still had that young talent and add Anthony Davis, but what guarantees that's going to work? It doesn't. So, with that being said, we got our chip. But now it's time to build, or we can go runs. We can go at least on a 2-3 years run where we're not missing the playoffs. We're watching us play tonight for a chance to win a championship. So I'll say just be patient, at least another year. Let Russ money come off the books, and then retool this roster and build around LeBron and Anthony Davis. But I'm not saying that, hey, if that phone call is somebody for Anthony Davis, you definitely pick up. You listen. And if a team's really desperate to give up their whole franchise for him, you make the trade. But we can't just let them go for a bag of chips. We can't let them go for a bag of chips. We definitely have to get something for them.
So tell me how y'all feel about this thing, because I feel like the Lakers really want to win, because look, the bulk of the money the Lakers owe are to LeBron, AD, and Westbrook, right? He's a billionaire. AD made a ton of money. Westbrook's made a ton of money over their careers. They live in LA, got the endorsement deals, they got Hollywood, right? Take a pay cut and then see who you can get through free agency after the draft, or even the post-trade, like during the post-trade deadline. Who can see who you can pick up? But yet, they are one of these enormous contracts. Like, I feel like the NFL, those players are more willing to take a pay cut to have a better team than NBA players are. What do y'all think about that?
Just like Doug has said, they got to finance them shirts and them haircuts and them pants and stuff, man. You don't get that fly taking pay cuts, Yeah, but and just to point out one thing that Freddie has said, I'm not picking up that phone unless it's one of those top 5 guys, Embiid, Durant, somebody that's going to actually change swing the pendulum of power back in LA. We're not picking up the phone for just anything, entertaining nothing. Like, this is still AD. This man still is immensely talented, just like you stated. He can put the ball on the floor. He can get to the rim. He can shoot the three. We don't want him shooting the three too much, but he can still do it. I just think with AD, it's just health. I mean, if he can just stay healthy, I mean, we already know he has all the tools. Everything you want in a big man. Anthony Davis is it. He's the standard.
To you and Freddie's point, right? So that phone call, what if that phone call Zach LaVine? Are you picking that phone call up?
No,
are you hanging it up?
I'm hanging it up. And
a lot of people want Zach LaVine because you saw his immense improvement this season. I mean, he really you saw marked improvement from him. He was making his shots, and that's what's missing on this Laker team is a shooter. So a quality shooter, someone that could knock down their shots. But I'm not sure if I'll make that move. I mean, that's a move of desperation to me. I think you could wait a little bit, but we all know how Laker fans are not patient. Just be patient, Laker fans. We'll win again. We're not going to be, that team that lose forever. I mean, it's not as bad as it looks. It's just that you got to get the right pieces. Once you get the right pieces around LeBron and AD, and if AD stays healthy, you're back in the playoff picture again. Not only are you back in the playoff picture, but you're a contender for another championship.
You're gonna have to send Levine, Caruso, hey, Vucevic, whoever you got over there. For AD, come on, the money ain't gonna match up.
That's who they should have re-signed. That's where they made their mistake.
There's a guy in Phoenix right now who wants a max contract, and we're probably not going to get it from them. We can do a lateral. I'll take DeAndre Ayton. Y'all don't want him either?
His motor don't stay warm enough for me.
Yeah, I don't want him either.
No, I wouldn't go that route either.
Because you see how he disappeared in Dallas. They benched him, actually.
Yeah.
I think he played.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this.
He might get in Phoenix.
The only way I will touch DeAndre Ayton is if he's willing to work out with one of our big men. If you're willing to take advice from Shaq, if you're willing to take advice from Kareem, because that's the problem we had out of Dwight when he was here the first time. He was okay with his game.
Yeah, but Freddie, just taking advice from somebody doesn't mean you're gonna become a better player.
I'm not saying that.
Anyone could take advice.
But what I'm saying is if he's willing to learn, if he's willing to put in the work with those guys that has been great, has been on top where we want to be at, if he's willing to do that, then okay, let's go. He's showing that he's want to learn. He's showing that he's ready to take that step. Because Corey's right. The dude can be he's passive aggressive. He don't attack the paint. He want to shoot mid-range and shoot it at 3 most of the time. But as big as like, just think about this. Just let this sink in. Powell. Yep, Powell and Dallas. And they're dominant. Kleber and all those guys, they're basically outplaying him. But we see a Kevin Looney in Golden State comes out there against Dallas and dominate those guys, getting boards and stuff. But I'm like, where was DeAndre Ayton at? Like, yo, you're a big body. You're a big man. You was the #1 pick in the draft. Bro, come on. But you want to get paid. Come on, man.
LA just wouldn't be the spot for him. He'll shrink under that pressure. Putting that purple and gold on is different. I don't know if y'all seen that Andre Drummond interview that he had. You know, it's just different. You know, once you're a Laker big man and you put on that uniform, I mean, he wouldn't fit. Phoenix was a smaller market. You just can't throw any big man in that uniform.
Mm-hmm.
No, not when there's so many greats that came before you. That puts a lot of pressure.
Not just that. Hey, it's pressure because you're with the Lakers and our history and what we expect. But there's also added pressure because you have LeBron James on your team. So you're getting double whap. Like, it's, hey, you got to come in here and you got to be for real.
So I got one of our last points for you guys right here, right? So we've witnessed this year, a lot of the teams that have gone far in the playoffs have a roster that was built through the draft, right? Not by trading for a star or for a superstar. That's something that LeBron James-led teams have never had the fortune of being. So my question is, do you believe the Lakers regret giving up on Randall, All-Star, Lonzo Ball, highly improved, or Brandon Ingram, All-Star? Or do you think they're content with their possible only championship post-Kobe era that was won in the bubble? Corey, you got it first.
Well, I mean, what works for everybody else is not going to work for, the Lakers. I mean, it's the Lakers. Would those players even materialize to what they are today if they still were Lakers? That's the question that we should ask because, they got traded for a reason. They wasn't showing the growth and development that the Lakers wanted to see. And we moved on from them, and they was able to do great things elsewhere. We bring them back, they might even shrink and go back to what they were when we traded them in the first place. So I think that the Lakers, getting that 2020 bubble championship, as everybody like to call it, I still think it's a legit championship. It worked out. I mean, we got a championship. We did top Boston. I'm hoping that they don't win this championship. God knows I don't want Boston to win another championship.
We'll never hit the end of it.
I don't want to. I hope they didn't win this championship.
Oh, we will hear the end of it when we win again.
Hey,
right now, I'm the biggest Golden State fan.
You're a real Laker fan because I'm gonna tell you this. I don't get why no Laker fan is rooting for Boston. I'm like, bro, like that's one thing you never, ever, ever do. Like you never do. You never go green. I don't care. I don't care. Like, bro, I will never, go for Boston. Like that's just something.
I don't even own a single green article of clothing in my house. Like we ain't walking green over here. If it ain't money, it ain't green.
There you go.
I got green Jordans behind me, as you can see.
You throw them away.
Pass on that one.
You throw them greens away, man. I wasn't gonna say nothing because this is my first time meeting you, but my God, I mean, you killing the show just with all that lime lollipop green you got back there. It's embarrassing to me, you know what I'm saying? But, but you paid money for it. I ain't gonna say nothing about it. God bless you. Let me answer this question. I think is it my show, my part?
Yes, sir.
We got to go back, if you ask me, and I don't mean to show my age again, but a lot of these trades wouldn't have happened if Dr. Buss was alive. Now I'm just gonna go and say that, because one thing that he was about was flat out winning. That's it. Jeannie Buss has the last name, but she's not her daddy.
Amen, brother.
So let you got the name, but you don't have it because the buck stopped with Dr. Buss. But right. Jeannie has so many voices around her that she ain't making the real decisions anyway. We're talking about, I mean, the only person I think that is somewhat qualified, and I said somewhat, is the voice of Kurt Rambis. He's won here. He knows at least what it took to win because he played. I'm not saying he should be a decision maker. I'm just saying he's familiar with the winning environment. He was there with Dr. Buss. He's in that family. Phil Jackson is another one that's names keep popping up. And he's not committed enough. He's not committed enough to really should have a voice in this organization. Anyway, I don't care if you dated the woman for 20 years, which it seemed like he did. If that's your qualification for being involved to the Laker business, and then you up and go back to Colorado and smoke up 9-10 trees in 20 minutes, that don't qualify you to talk about the Lakers. So that's the other thing. Now we're talking about Kurt Rambis' wife. I mean, good Lord. I mean, who is she? I mean, come on now. We got to start right there. There's too many voices in there.
That's
she
what
had it right when she had Magic there. Yep. She had it right when Magic was there. But she didn't want to give him the full power. And Magic definitely knows the Laker way, the Laker tradition. He is the one that brought LeBron James here. He had the vision as far as AD and all that stuff go. I'm not so sure that if Magic was still been in charge, I'm not sure that Russell Westbrook would be here because he knows that it does not fit. He knows that. So we got to be honest about that situation, and then we can, properly assess it. But go ahead, Fred. I'm sorry, bro.
Phil, I'm sorry. I got to go here. Doug, stop tap-toeing, sir. Call it what you want to call it, my brother. Rob Pelinka isn't it. I mean, hey.
I was about to go there.
Okay, I'll let you go.
I look, just because you look like Rob Lowe and you think you all of a sudden is a movie star does not qualify you. Just because you were Kobe Bryant's agent does not mean you know how to build a basketball team. You were leaning on Magic Johnson's expertise, and then now Magic is gone. So now you left here trying to do what LeBron says. LeBron wanted Russell Westbrook. Rob Pelinka goes satisfy and appease LeBron to bring him here. Now, that's the problem. He can't do it. Dr. Buss wouldn't have done it. Magic Johnson wouldn't have done it. But because you're trying to please LeBron, and because in I guess in a way he's kind of running it, you brought him in. Now you see some of the things. It's not Russell Westbrook's fault. I don't want nobody to think I'm saying that. I'm just saying I believe some of this stuff wouldn't have happened. Now we get to this part now where we start to talk about Russell, AD, LeBron, etc., etc. Let me tell you something. We need to start LeBron, in my mind, is just a bonus. We have to start looking now, maybe 2 years down the road. Father Time is knocking at LeBron's door. Even though look, this is not Tom Brady. You know, if you're a quarterback, you can't play B45. You know what I'm saying? Playing professional basketball. It's just not going to happen. We need to start looking at whatever we're going to do, because I don't think they're going to trade AD, even though I think that probably be the best out. But I don't think they are, because they're looking 2-3 years down the road. They are probably going to build around AD. So what are you going to put around him as far as trade goes now? Because LeBron won't be here in about another year or two. So now you're stuck now. Okay, now it's AD's team. What are you going to put around him now to make the Lakers better? Forget LeBron. LeBron is just a bonus, a gigantic, great bonus. But we got to start looking toward the future, because old teams, the league, the older players, they're good, but at some point in time, the transition happens and they're not what they were 2-3 years ago. The dynasty moves. It kind of gets shifted. You know, the Pistons got old. You know what I'm saying? The Lakers got old. The Celtics got old. You know what I'm saying? Sooner or later, the transition happened. LeBron is there. He's still great. He still can be an all-NBA player, but we got to start looking now a couple years down the road like, okay, AD is our piece. What's the shooters going to be around him? Because he's going to get doubled. Yeah. What you going to put around him? So when you say something like Zach LaVine's game would fit. It would fit because he can shoot. I like the way he plays. It won't work. Well, I'm saying it won't work on this team because Zach LaVine will come in being the fourth option. He's not a fourth option type guy. See what I'm saying? So it wouldn't work now, especially with Westbrook there. But we got to go ahead and start looking toward the future. That's just my opinion.
What you think, Jonathan?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is not a patient fan base, though. And I feel like the Lakers sometimes do whatever they can to appease the fan base. And I feel like living here in LA, I could tell you the last few years, it's been as if these franchises have been in competition with each other. When the Lakers do something, the Rams make a move. When the Rams make a move, the Dodgers make a move. So it's almost like they're in a bit of a competition to see who can put together the best roster. But I think Jeanie Buss is listening to too many people, like Doug here said, and I've been saying that for a very long time. There's too many people involved. I don't know if she lacks confidence in her ability to run her own business. I don't know if she's unsure of herself and she feels like she needs to reach out to other people for advice on how to build her franchise or which direction to take for the franchise. But I think that's why the Lakers are in so much trouble because of that. It's too many people having the input on what needs to be done around the organization. You have Phil Jackson saying this. You have Linda Rambis. I don't know why she's involved, but she's saying this. And you have Kurt Rambis saying another thing. So, I mean, she needs to have full power of her franchise and step up and say, you know what, this is how I'm going to run my business. That's what Jerry Buss would have done. No. We don't do it like this. We do it the way I want it done. So I think it's just too many voices. And I think the Lakers are going to continue to make moves because that's the franchise they are. They want to win right now. They don't like developing young players. They don't like it. If they would have liked that, then they would have kept the players that they had. Why do you think they gave up on the players they had? Because it's not about youth for them. It's more about getting a veteran player so we can win the championship right now.
Jonathan, I gotta go, bro. I'm
Close out, Freddie.
Listen, man, and Jonathan, you said a mouthful. It's like I could go get a little clip of just what you just said is make it about a whole show about you, my brother. But let me try to make it the short version. Number one, it's not about that she has too many chefs in the kitchen. She got the wrong ones in the kitchen. You see, it's like Dr. Jerry Buss. He had people that knew how to win, basketball-minded people like Jerry West that's down there helping him build those teams. It wasn't just Dr. Jerry Buss. It was Jerry West down there as well. Kirk Rambis, he can go. I don't even know why the hell Linda Rambis. Linda Rambis is one of those things. You know what, Doug? Hey, bro, you my good friend. I got this business. Hell, I know you don't know anything about making reels, but guess what? Come on, my business. Reap off. Hey, I'm gonna give you this big paycheck. I'm gonna look out for you, my friend. That's what that tells me more than anything. And just because Phil Jackson's reaching in the cookie jar, that don't mean that he needs to be making no decisions. I mean, you can ask him for a recommendation or some advice or what do you think, but he shouldn't have no say so. And you know, I mean, that's just how I see it. Okay. She just got the wrong cooks in the kitchen, and you know, you have, and I do believe your star players should have some input, but you know, that should be all input. Hey, LeBron, what do you think about this? Oh, Jeannie, I think okay. Well, you know what, LeBron, I've looked at it in my way. I think this way will be better. We're gonna go ahead and do it our way. That's how that relationship should be. So, but you know what, Philip, to answer your original question, brother. Hey, like I said before, we look at our history. We can only look at a few players that we've kept and we've built around. Irvin Magic Johnson, Kobe Bean Bryant, which was a trade, but hell, he was still drafted. But other than that, we're all in for stars. We want superstars. That's what we want. And guess what? It works, you guys. It's even no matter how bad it looks right now, and it is bad. We have accomplished the goal that we set out the end of, that's to win a championship. But guess what? Sometimes when it looks good, sometimes it bites you in the butt. But like I said, it's not easy to win championships in the NBA. I mean, look at the Phoenix Suns. For the last 2 seasons, been one of the best teams in the NBA. But guess what? They can't get over the hump. It's not easy to win championship. Look at the Brooklyn Nets, you guys. They put up teams for the last couple of years trying to get there, but something's always getting in the way. So that tells the Lakers know that. That's why the mindset is to go all in. And Doug said it perfectly. I love Jeannie Buss. I love her as an owner. I love her as a person, but she's not her daddy. She's not Dr. Jerry Buss. And that's what we expect her to be, but we have to realize that's not who she is. Her best bet was to keep with Magic Johnson. But, you know, and then to me, if I was Magic, I'm just going to be honest, I should feel disrespected. You chose Rob Pelinka over me? You're supposed to be your brother? Me and you grew up together? You chose him? And I'm going to just say it like this, and I've said this before. The only reason why Rob has that job is because of Kobe. Because nobody in their right mind was going to hire that man as a general manager. There's already a bad rep about the guy that people did not like him. They don't get along. He's arrogant. He's an ass. They didn't. I mean, so the only reason why he got the job was because Kobe. But Jeannie's going to have to get these voices out of her ear, and she's going to have to start making these decisions. Or how about this, Jeannie? I don't know what it is. I don't know what started, but this is going to be another episode topic or something. You need to get right with Jerry West. Why all of a sudden that he got to jump around to every other team, but he can't clean up the team that he played for, the team that he helped run? I don't know what the beef is, but that beef need to be fixed fast, quick, in a hurry, if you ask me.
Wasn't it something having to do with the tickets or something?
Well, it's even before that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know. Yeah, she needs to fix that relationship because he did so much for the organization. I agree.
Let's go here, and this may be a topic for later on or whatever, but she has the last name, but is she really a basketball person? I mean,
that's a good question there.
I mean, if all of us by now watched Winning Time, the series that was on, I guess I forgot, HBO Max or whatever. She was in the marketing department. I mean, everybody says that's a true story. You know what I'm saying? She was not a basketball guy. That was handled between Jerry West and Dr. Buss. She was more the marketing type person over the Laker girls and all that kind of stuff. So you can have the last name. And I'm a preacher, y'all. So let me just say this. She was not anointed in that area to be a basketball person. She was anointed for marketing. You see what I'm saying? So
And that's
she's
even
stepping
to the day.
in. She's stepping in thinking that the last name counts. And the truth be told, that's why she need all the voices, because it's a job that she really can't do.
Hey, Doug, and
She
even
doesn't
to
have
the
that
day,
basketball acumen.
There you
and
go.
Doug, even to the day, we'll hear her say, I run the business side.
There you
Rob
go.
runs the basketball side.
So if that's the case, then maybe
Hey, I
it's
will say this
understandable.
though. I will say this: she better than Jim. I'd rather have
Well,
her
it
over
don't be
Jim.
hard to be better than Jim, my brother. Doug can go up there and say, you know
'Cause he
what?
ain't
We
a
don't pay
basketball
you all
guy
dang
either.
this money.
He wasn't a basketball guy either. So
Yeah.
Hey, well, that was a good point for. We'll definitely dig deeper into that for next episode, fellas. But for those again, just joining us. Thank y'all for watching the first episode of Lakers Talk 101. Is brought to you by the ASAP Sports Network. And please, if you haven't already, subscribe to us on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, like us, follow us, share our content, please. And just get ready for more one-on-one real Laker talk. We'll go around the horn one time. Everybody reintroduce yourself and tell them where they can find you at. Go ahead, Corey.
Yes, I'm Corey. I'm from the Out of Bounds Sports Podcast. We air our shows on Thursday nights. Right now, the Lakers is on our off season, so our Laker topics has been kind of pushed to the side till the season starts back up. But we will be back on as soon as the Lakers start kicking back up. We do cover media post game, pre game. So we'll be back as soon as the Lakers start inviting us back to do those. Also, we do WNBA with the Las Vegas Aces. You can catch us as soon as the Aces. Their schedule is kind of strange, so we try to catch them when they do play, and then we get some pregame, postgame with some coaches and players with them. You can find me on Out of Bounds. Everything's Out of Bounds. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Everything is going to be Out of Bounds Sports Podcast.
Yes, sir. Doug.
Hey, before I say what I have to say, thank you guys for allowing me to hang with you guys tonight. I appreciate it. This was pretty good, no doubt about it. I think we're gonna cause some damage here. I like that. Listen, it's right above my head. The Big Time Show podcast. The Big Time Show podcast that we air on Mondays and Saturdays for now. I got a lot of stuff going on. I can't do it every day. I'm in doctoral school. I'm an assistant pastor. I'm just, I don't have time. But Mondays at 7 p.m. So I'll be on tomorrow, actually. Mondays at 7 p.m. and then on Saturdays at 3 o'clock. I am a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan. And you can blow your lips all you want to, whatever the case may be. I'm a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan. That's all I talk about on my show. That's all I talk about on my show Mondays and Saturdays. I will throw in some Lakers. I have a few shows that's dealing with the Lakers. My two beloved franchises are the Los Angeles Lakers and the Dallas Cowboys. So if you want to hear some Cowboy talk, or even if you're a hater, you can come follow me. Go on Facebook. Just go ahead and type that in, the Big Time Show there, and just follow it and click on those notifications. I will be live. I'm also on YouTube as well. The same thing, the Big Time Show. Just turn it on, turn the notifications on. I'm on Twitter. I am at Big Time Lou, at Big Time Lou. You can follow me there. I'm everywhere. Twitch, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora. I'm all over the place. Just type in the Big Time Show and catch up with me, and let's have some fun together. I appreciate you guys allowing me to hang with you.
Yes, sir.
Jonathan.
What up, everyone? It's Jonathan Mathis, the Sports Judge. You guys can follow me pretty much on any social media platform. I'm on Instagram at SportsJudge85. I'm on Twitter at SportsJudge85. You guys can also follow my fan page on Facebook. These guys here, they know about it. Phil know about it. Freddie know about it. Corey know about it. I'm sure Doug will know about it now too. You guys can follow me on Facebook. The Sports Judge is the name of the fan page. And then you guys can also follow my YouTube channel. Check me out on YouTube, Jonathan Mathis. I'm a cartoon. My profile picture is a cartoon photo of myself. You guys can give that a thumbs up as well, and you guys can subscribe to the channel.
Yes, sir. CEO.
I want to kind of do mine a little bit different. I want to thank, this panel here, man. I'm gonna tell y'all the the most beautiful part about it is nothing but brothers. Brothers coming on here, putting up a great show. I want to thank Phil. I want to thank Corey, Doug, Jonathan for coming on here, being the co-host on this show. You can catch us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Central. This Thursday, we might have a pop-up show, a little interview, because we have a special reporter from Bleacher Report coming on here. He's going to talk a little Lakers here with us. So make sure you tune into that. But I want to thank you guys for being a part of this. And, hey, you guys, I'll nowhere but up from here. And let's continue let's take names. Let's kick ass and take names later.
Yes, sir. Once again, thank y'all for watching us. We're brought to you by the ASAP Sports Network. All sports, all plays. It's been real. And if you're a Lakers fan, if you're not a Lakers fan, come by next episode. Talk some trash with us. We love competition. We out.
Yes, sir.